Hello Year 4, this is your art lesson for this week. We're going to be creating a winter tree painting or picture. If we'd been in school, this is what we would have been doing. We would have been doing a painting of a sunset with a winter tree, like this one, or this one. But because most of us are not in school, we're going to try and do it in a more simplified way. So winter trees, I think, are really interesting. So trees look different all year round. Some people like the trees in spring best when they've got blossom. Some people like the trees in summer when they're in full leaf and all bright green. Some people like the trees in autumn when the colours change to reds and oranges and yellows. But I really like the trees in winter because I think that's when you get to see what the tree really looks like. When you can look at the branches and how they extend out. It's almost like looking at the skeleton of the tree when you see a tree in winter. And I would like you, as part of this lesson, if you get a chance, to go outside and have a look at any trees that you can see. Trees often, when they're reflected against the winter sky, just look black. And that's what we're going to do with our tree picture today. So you would start off using a pencil to do your tree. So we're going to do the tree first before anything else. And got some pictures here that I got from Google of winter trees that you might find quite useful to have a look at. But you can always pause the video and have a look at them to see. Some of them have got branches that go, trunks that go straight up to the top with branches coming off them. Some of them have got trunks that stop about a third of the way up and then divide off. So there are a few different types of winter trees that you could think about. So for my winter tree, I'm going to do something that looks a bit like this one. So it's fairly simplified. It starts with quite a thick trunk. It divides off into two, and then these branches divide off again. So I'm just going to start. I'm not going to draw the bottom bit. I'll put that in later, but I'm just going to start with the bottom part of the trunk. So it's thickest at the bottom, and then it comes up. I'm sorry if you can't see this very well. I'll try and make it a bit darker. And the line's a bit wobbly because the edges of trees are not exactly straight often. They're a little bit wibbly wobbly like this. And then the trunk comes up and it divides into two, a bit like a Y shape. And then that one goes off in that direction and this one goes off in this direction. And then this divides into two. So again, another Y shape. And then that goes off and that divides into two. And that divides into two. And by working like this, you can create a really interesting tree. So I'm going to put you on fast forward while I continue this. So I'm quite happy with the way that tree looks now. So I'm going to put some more things into my picture. So the bottom part, which is the foreground of the picture, that's going to be just a snowy foreground, so that will be just all snow. And then behind, that's going to be fields, snowy fields. And in the sky, that's going to be like a sunset image. So here in this first bit, I might draw, like in this picture, some rabbits, so you could think about doing that. Or in this one, there's a fox, so you could think about doing that as well. Put a fox into your picture. So some rabbits are quite nice and they're easy to draw because you need one circle and then a bigger circle and then big ears. And that's about it really. And then this is a mummy rabbit, so 2 circles and big ears. And we've got rabbits there. I want this to look sort of like it feels with snow in, so I'm going to put a few lines that look a bit like snowdrifts, and the same in here. And then I'm going to start by colouring my tree in black because when you're looking at something in a sunset background, you can't really see the details of the tree, you just see it as black. So I'll put you on fast forward while I do that. So I've finished colouring in my tree in black and I've done my rabbits, but I've changed my mind about having this second field behind, because I think I'm going to go with having a more colourful sky rather than this original picture that I did where I had the field behind. So artists can do that, so you can start making a picture and then you can think about how you want to change it as you go along, which is why it's good if you just do it in pencil to start with. I want to show you a little trick about the colouring in. So I've coloured it in with a black coloured pencil. Of course, you could use a black felt tip pen, you could use crayons, you could use black paint if you've got paint, whatever you use is fine. But when you've done it in one colour, it's quite good to go over it in another to fill in. Can you see how that's making the colour more deep? So I'm going over the black in a grey. It gives the picture more depth and adds more to it. I could also do that with a brown. Just put that over the top. And you'll have noticed as I was colouring my branches in, when I was getting to the ends, I was adding a few extra little bits, just a tiny bits that come at the end of the branches as I was going along. So you can do that as well. So now I'm going to try and do a really interesting sunset sky, a bit like this picture. So I'm going to start with the lighter colours and then build it up to the darker ones. So I'm going to put you on fast forward while I do that. So you might have noticed in the time lapse, when I was colouring over the tree branches, I didn't go around them, I just went straight over the top to add the colour. And what I'm doing now is the same as I did with the tree. I'm going over the colours that I've done and adding another colour on top to give it more depth and more interest. So as you can see, I've virtually finished colouring in my sunset. I've added some little bits of colour down onto the snow so it looks a little bit like a reflection. Let's just make that look a bit more interesting. I might also do some bits of grass that's sticking up just to add a little bit of interest. But the thing that I've noticed is that these branches have lost a bit of their definition as I've been going over and colouring in. So I might spend a little bit of time with a black felt tip pen just making sure that these very fine branches at the end show up. So this is my winter tree silhouette in a snowy background finished, and I'm really happy with it. I hope you won't really enjoy making yours, and I'm looking forward to seeing them when you upload them onto your class dojo.